Peace and blessings, family. It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Boston community. Shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. Before we go any further in the video, if you like the video, then like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, click the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime I post any new videos. This particular video is about the 2023 Southern University football schedule. Is a little bit tougher than I would like, at least from the outset. So just to kind of break down game by game, the first game, the opener for the season for Southern University play against Alabama State University on September the 2nd. To me, I'm not thrilled about them starting against Alabama State to start off the season. I mean, me personally, I would prefer if they start against a team like Pine Bluff. That would be like a better game to start the particular season. Then the next game on September the 9th, they play against Jackson State. Now, initially, this game was moved to Birmingham, Alabama. However, from my understanding, it's been moved back to A.W. Mumford Stadium because, I'm almost certain that, administration, Coach Ronald Banks, who's the AD at Southern, they know that Southern University fan base, they like to travel. And one of the biggest games on the schedule is Jackson State, especially when they play in Jackson, for the Boombox Classic. So they would prefer to take that game and maybe make it a away game. But, Southern, when they do play J State at AW, it's going to be a packed game. There's going to be people that ordinarily wouldn't come to like some of the other games against less SWAC competition like maybe Mississippi Valley, even against a lower tier school. They necessarily wouldn't come to that game, but if they play J State, they're gonna come. So why not just make it a home game? I know you Southern fans like to travel, but nevertheless, you won't collect that gate at home. So I don't see what the big deal is. All right, thereafter on September the 10th, they play against Alabama A&M. So Southern really don't start, the season with any cupcakes, like they have in the past. They starting out with, a pretty tough SWAC schedule. The only good thing about it is some of these games to start out the season, it's not going to count against the SWAC schedule. So even though they're SWAC games, I know for some individuals it might not make sense, but those games that start out the season, they're not going to be counting SWAC games. And as you progress on Saturday, September the 30th, they play against UAPB, play against Arkansas Pine Bluff. To me, this is the game I would prefer to start the season. You want to start the season with some lighter opposition, get your first win, get your feet wet, get the season going. However, it's a little bit later in the year. Then after that, on Saturday, October the 7th, they play against FAMU. That's going to be a big rivalry game. This year, they're going to be back at AW. So, it's going to be interesting to see. Then the next game, on Saturday, October the 14th, they play against Lincoln University. So, this is going to be like an easier game during this part of the schedule. You get some backup, some reps. It's probably going to be like a blowout type game. I don't think it's going to be as much of a blowout as when they beat Florida Memorial, but it's probably going to be an easier game. This is the type of game you really need to start the season off with. All right, next, against Saturday, October 21st, they play against Bethune-Cookman. Now, I know Bethune-Cookman, they've had their issues with Ed Reed. They finally moved on, got him another head coach. So I don't expect Bethune-Cookman to be a real good team right away. Of course, Southern played them on the latter half of the schedule, but nevertheless, you can't take any opposition lightly, especially a SWAC opponent. So they're going to have to bring a game for that. Then Saturday, October the 28th, they play against TSU. Andrew Body, I'm almost certain at that point in the SWAC season, he's going to have it going. He's going to be rolling. So it's going to be imperative for Southern. unlike they've done the last couple of years, they cannot take Texas Southern lightly. I'm certainly going to be looking for revenge because Texas Southern beat them the last 2 years. And I'm almost certain going into that game, Texas Southern is going to be confident. So it's going to be imperative that Southern takes care of business in that particular game. Then, Saturday, November the 4th, another big rivalry game they play against Alcorn State. You know, it's going to be a big game. It's going to be imperative that at this point in the season that Southern plays well. Then again, Saturday, November the 11th, Southern plays against Prairie View A&M. Of course, we all know Coach Dooley. You know, he was the head coach for Prairie View. And in addition to that, this past season when they played in Prairie View, it was his first time going back to Prairie View. You know, it was a lot of emotion. You know, the emotion was running high for that particular game. They fought pregame. So, you know, hopefully, you know, the news really don't blow it up as much this particular year, but I'm almost certain, you know, some of those players that he might have coached at Prairie View, they're still there. You know, it's going to be an emotional game again, so hopefully Southern can get that win also. Then thereafter that, we finally round down to the Bayou Classic. That's going to be Saturday, November the 25th. That's going to be Thanksgiving weekend. You know, the biggest rivalry game of the season. Of course, you know, Southern's biggest rivals, you know, in my personal opinion, of course, Grambling will be one. I think J-State will probably be two, and Alcorn will be three. That's just my personal opinion. I have friends and other, you know, Southern faithful, you know, they all kind of view Grambling as number one, but in terms of who's two, who's three, you know, it could be arguable. You know, Alcorn could be two, Jackson State could be three. It's just kind of whatever your personal opinion is. And thereafter, the SWAC championship game is Saturday, December the 2nd. So that's pretty much the 2023 Southern University football schedule. Hopefully Southern has a much better 2023 campaign than they did in 2022. Even though they went to the SWAC championship game, they lost. So hopefully this coming year, the SWAC championship game is at A.W. Mumford Stadium. And in addition to that, hopefully they win. You know, they go on to the Celebration Bowl and they win that also. So it's just going to kind of be interesting to see because to start off the season, you know, the season starts off, you know, with two difficult SWAC opponents, with Alabama State and with Jackson State. I mean, I preferred if it was just me, I would probably start off with, you know, some lighter competition, maybe UAB, maybe Bethune-Cookman, whoever. But, I mean, they start the season, you know, on a pretty difficult note. Last year, this past season, Southern was undefeated at home, you know, and the only games they lost on the road. They lost to Jackson State in the Boombox Classic. In addition to that, they lost the SWAC championship game to Jackson State in Jackson State also. They also lost to Texas Southern. So, for the most part, Southern, you know, they did well at home. They struggled on the road. But the issue with that also is the caliber competition, you know. They lost to Florida A&M at home. They lost to Florida A&M on the road. They lost to Texas Southern on the road. They lost to Jackson State on the road. They lost all those away games. So they lost to Texas Southern, FAMU, and Jackson State, all on the road. Everybody else, they beat pretty much everybody. They won all their home games. But some of these teams that they played away last year, like Jackson State and FAMU and Texas Southern, they're going to play all of those teams this year at home. And some of the other teams that you played, like Alcorn State, you know, honestly, they didn't win that game. I think they survived more than anything. Now, instead of playing in the confines of A.W. Mumford Stadium, this year you go play Alcorn State on the road. So it's going to kind of be interesting to see how the season plays out. The next Southern University video, I'm going to break down their recruiting class. I think, you know, just looking at their recruiting class, you know, if the offensive line play holds up, Southern should be pretty explosive on the offensive end. On the defensive end, it's still a little bit of a question mark, but more than anything, there's huge question marks up front on both sides of the ball. So I'll address that in my next Southern University video. So again, if you like the video, like, share, comment, subscribe. Also click the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime I post any new videos. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Have a blessed and phenomenal evening. Peace and blessings.